Hi, how y'all doing? I'm going to talk to you today about wicked pastors. You can't get rid of them, period. Now, I don't need to rehash all the things that's going on in the newspaper and YouTube. You read the newspaper like I do. You listen to YouTube like I do. But I'm going to say this, that God distinguishes between certain levels of sin. I mean, sin is sin. Sin is like you steal a paperclip from an old lady. Iniquity is when you keep stealing from an old lady and then you steal her money. Okay, and then wickedness is when you kill her and put her underneath the house. Okay, different levels of sin, but it's all the same hell. In other words, you can still go to hell for stealing a paperclip. So there are different levels of sin. There are different degrees of sin, but it's all the same hell. Now, there are a lot of wicked pastors and evangelists, a lot of them. They go beyond sin. They're wicked. I mean, just from what the Lord is telling me, from me reading the scriptures, they're in iniquity. They are wicked. They way beyond just a sin. Okay, he calls them wicked. They have iniquity. Okay. Now, they are not with Jesus. Why? Because they continue to preach the gospel, but they are in this wickedness. They are in this iniquity. A whole lot of pastors and evangelists, a lot of them. Some of them kill people, you know, when pastors, like, they are in a certain city or a certain suburb, and then another pastor comes by and builds a church. They're jealous, so they kill that pastor. They steal money, okay? They steal money from the church. You know what? That's what got Judas into trouble. That's how Judas' sin started. He stole money from the treasury. I mean, if there was $20,000 in the treasury, Judas is like, well, you know, Jesus is not going to miss $20. Okay, we got him in hell. But that was the beginning of his sin. And there are a lot of pastors in hell because they stole money. Okay, but you cannot arrest them. They cannot be arrested. You know why? Because these pastors and evangelists pull a Hillary Clinton. They get rid of all the evidence and they kill all the witnesses. Okay, so it's hard to even arrest them and bring any kind of charges against them. Now, back in the day, even in my day and before my day, if a pastor was earned, if he was screwing some of the women in church and other women outside the church, the deacons would just vote him out, throw him out of the church. But they can't. The deacons can't even do that now. Why? Because the pastor and his wife, they own the title deed to the church and they control all the money in the church down to the last quarter. So they can't even throw them out. They're almost untouchable. These pastors and evangelists commit all this sin, all this iniquity, and you can't get rid of them. The deacons cannot get rid of them because they own these pastors and their wives, their wicked wives. They own the title deed to the church and they own all the money in the church down to the last quarter. Okay. Now, you cannot fire them at all. I have never seen it, even in my community, all these wicked pastors that's in my community, I've never even seen them be fired at all. Okay. It's impossible to get rid of them. And yet they're not with the Lord. They're preaching the gospel. They continue to preach the gospel, the Antichrist. And they keep preaching the gospel because they don't know how to make a regular living. They don't even know how to make $1 out here. So look, why not just keep preaching in church where the money's free and money's good? This is part 1. Part 2 is next.